Good morning, everyone. My name is Becky Capel. I've been coming to Long Crendon Baptist Church for just over 2 years now with my husband Evil, and I've been asked to share with you this morning why I became a Christian and a little bit about what that means in my life. Growing up, like a lot of people, I think, I went to church at Christmas, at Easter, when I went to stay with my grandparents. But by the time I went to university, if I'm honest, I didn't believe in God and I thought Christians were a little odd. Then God stepped into my life and the life of my family in a big way. He didn't so much open the door to faith as knock the house down. My cousin had fallen deeply into drug and alcohol abuse. He went into multi-organ failure on several occasions. And frankly, by the end of my first year at university, we were convinced that the only end was a phone call to say that he'd been found and could not be revived. That summer, largely because I wanted to meet his friends, I asked if I could go to church with my then boyfriend, now husband, and his family one Sunday. The day came, I was really nervous. I was suddenly convinced that I would be found out or even thrown out for going to church without being a Christian. I was totally wrong. That day, the sermon was about hope, love, pulling together, about family. It felt like every word was being spoken directly to me and the situation for my cousin. This was overwhelming and understandably emotional. After the service, Evil said that as a Christian, he felt strongly that this was God's way of speaking to me and to the situation. And he suggested that we go back to the church and pray for my cousin. Within 3 weeks, God had opened a place at a Christian rehabilitation centre not all that far from where we'd prayed. Over the course of the next year, my cousin became clean and became a Christian himself. This led me to ask lots of questions and then to go to church in order to thank God for what he'd done. I still had a lot of questions before I asked Jesus into my life and called myself a Christian. Did Jesus even exist? What was his message? Why would God care about tiny little me? Over time, I found answers. What does God mean in my life now? It's hard to say. What does my arm mean? How much do I need water? My relationship with God doesn't stop painful things happening in my life or in the life of the people I love. But it does give me a deep sense of peace, hope, and joy. Happiness, sadness, good times, bad times, successes, failures, all happen, but God doesn't change. I know there is a room for me in his house. 5 months ago, God blessed Eva and I with the safe arrival of our first child, a daughter. This was a long and difficult struggle, eventually involving IVF, and there were times when we thought that we wouldn't be able to have a child of our own. Leaning on God made these times bearable. He calmed our fears in medical emergencies. He grieved with us and now celebrates with us. But he was always there. Being a mum has changed and deepened my relationship with God. It's shown me just how much he is in control. It's filled me with a sense of wonder at his world and his plans, and given me more time and desire to study his word. Most recently, COVID-19 has forced us all into lockdown and challenged us once again. I'd like to joke that as an introvert, I've been training for this situation my entire life. But really, I miss things like visits from the grandparents, cups of tea with friends, going to church. My husband Evil is a medical doctor training in intensive care, and he's currently working on respiratory wards and with COVID-19 patients. I'd be lying if I said that I was never concerned for him or for wider members of our family. But it's his job, his vocation, in fact. He says that God has given him the privilege to work in the service of others. The serenity to know that sometimes he can help with treatment, but sometimes only with comfort. And the confidence to know that uncertainties in his career will work out for the best in the end. I'd like to finish by sharing some Bible verses which have been useful to me since becoming a mum. In fact, I have these written by my bedside. Firstly, reminding me that God is always there, whether it's 5 a.m. feeds, 5 p.m. giggles, or when evil is at work. Psalm 121, verse 4. He who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. Secondly, reminding me that I don't have to be a perfect mum or have all the answers. 2 Corinthians 12, verse 9. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. And finally, reminding me to clear my head before I pray. Jeremiah 29, verse 13. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. I don't know where you are in your relationship with Jesus at the moment, or if the present situation has led you to ask new questions. If it has, I strongly encourage you to pray, to seek out Christians in your life and talk to them about how you feel, and to join us in person when things return to normal. Thank you.